What is happening, people? It is Brian Alsruhe with NEVERsate.com, and today's video is going to be all about my favorite press variations for building big, strong shoulders. But first, real fast, guys, I just want to say thank you. I am so overwhelmed. The number of you who took advantage of that Black Friday deal to get a program, I am happily bombarded and just ecstatic. I'm becoming such a better programmer just because I'm getting to work with so many different people and do so many different things. I am just ecstatic with the response, guys. So thank you guys so much. It means so much to me, and I'm going to be working really hard to get all of your programs as soon as I possibly can. And this is your absolute last chance to be getting in for the seminar on Saturday at Joey Satsmare's gym. It's going to be a really good time, guys. If you guys do want to check that out, make sure you go to the link in the description box down below. But now getting back to this pressing video, it's going to be very similar to the row variation video that I did just a little bit ago. I'm going to give you guys 9 variations you guys can throw in if you guys are choosing to be running that free Dark Horse program that I put out a couple weeks ago. If you guys are running that, this will kind of line up a lot of good variation options that you guys can use, and these are my favorite that I've used over my lifting career to build the shoulders that I actually have now. That said, know that these are only press variations. I am a big believer in lateral raise, I'm a big believer in rear delt work. However, I'm not covering those things now. They are massively important for good, balanced, well-rounded shoulders. However, that's not what we're doing. If you guys are not putting in heavy pressing as part of your basic routine for #1 strength, of course you're doing that. But if you're also looking for size and you're not doing heavy pressing, you are leaving a massive part of the pie. I've never used that analogy one time in my life. Don't know why I did it now. So yes, these are all going to be pressing variations, and guys, I am not a fan of pressing when you're sitting down on the ground. #1, you are missing out on a ton of things, not only if you're looking for size and strength, but you're missing out on core strength, your posterior chain being able to stabilize, you're looking at your upper back. There's a lot of things going on there that you are taking out of the equation that I would highly encourage that you put back in just by doing it all standing. Plus, #2, I have a ton of friends who have lost their legs in whatever case may be, and all of them will tell you, if you have the ability to use your legs, you should use them as much as you possibly can. And I 100% agree, especially when it comes to lifting. Now, since we're also talking about legs, I know a lot of guys are super hooked on the strict press and think that is the holy grail of building big, strong shoulders. And believe me, that is a massive piece of it. However, you need to start using your legs for a couple reasons. #1, your body is not going to get that much stronger if this is all the weight that you're putting above your head. If you can use your legs to drive more weight above your head, you're going to be doing a lot of things for your shoulder stability, in your shoulder girdle, in the upper back region, your posterior chain, learning how to flex your butt, your core stability. A lot of things are going to be going on there that you're not taking advantage of that are going to be massively important when it comes to building a big, strong press. So for that reason, on my heavy variations here, I'm going to be talking about things like the push press. Now, I know a lot of people are familiar with push press and you're doing it, and whether you decide to take the push press and use it as an exercise where you're leaving the bar in your hands or you're actually throwing the bar onto your shoulders is completely up to you. I have tutorials for both, and I would highly encourage that you guys check those out. However, if it's up to me, I'm sticking that bar on my shoulders. But the basic idea of the push press is basically you're doing a strict press, except you get to use your legs, so you get to use more weight. Now, using that extra weight, like I said before, when your body starts realizing that you're trying to put heavier things above your weight and stabilize them, then it's going to start to adapt very quickly. You're going to get bigger, stronger shoulders very quickly than just doing the strict press alone. Now, if you're working on strength, this is a massive builder for the bench press, for your overhead press. So if you are doing strength, you should absolutely be doing these. But the push press by tradition is just one leg drive. So you get a dip and then you drive up with your legs, they lock out, the bar locks out. That is the end of it. The second heavy variation I want to talk about is going to get even more brutal, and that it's going to be the jerk or the push jerk or the split jerk. Whatever you want to call it, all that you're going to be doing here is just adding another dip into that progression of the dip and drive on your push press. So strict press, there is 0 leg drive. On a push press, you get one dip, you drive your legs up, they lock out, the bar locks out, that's the end of it. On a jerk or a push jerk or a split jerk, you're gonna have 2 dips. So you're going to dip down for that initial leg drive, then you're gonna dip your legs again to catch the bar. This essentially is going to allow you to use even bigger weights, and yes, the argument is that you're using your shoulders and a lot less on these movements, and I would agree, you're absolutely using less of your shoulders and using other parts of your body. However, the addition of all that extra weight being stabilized above your head, as well as you just learning how to deal with that, finding the actual groove that you're gonna be pressing in, all of that very much outweighs any problems that you're gonna have when it comes to not using your shoulders that much. This will build your shoulders, I can guarantee it. The third heavy variation that I wanna bring up with you guys is the pin press. Now the pin press is awesome for overloading your triceps because you can set this pin anywhere you want. So if you want it very high, just to work the very top of your lockout, you can absolutely do that. If you need to set it lower to work some sort of sticking point, you can 100% do that. That is no problem at all. But the pin press is an awesome way to work the groove of where you're actually having problems. So a lot of people get to the point where they push that bar up to their crown or maybe a little bit above the crown of their head, and then they get stuck because either they run out of horsepower with their tricep strength, which the pin press is gonna help, or they're just out of groove, meaning that the bar is too far out over top the middle of their foot. Typically it's not too far back, usually it's too far out forward. Anyway, if that is the problem, the pin press is going to be the remedy because you can work those areas wherever your sticking point may be. You just set the pins. The only problem is you need a power rack that you can actually set pins at that type of height. All right, which brings us to our medium weight variation. So I'm not saying these are gonna be light at all because our very first one is the strict press. Now, I can typically get weight out of anyone's strict press. I can add more weight to that if you just simply go to my tutorial on it. Either it'll be your breathing, your bracing, your setup, your stabilizer, something I can fix there, okay? That is going to get you more pounds, so definitely go check that out. But it is like a medium weight exercise just because I'm saying when you're using your legs, it's gonna be heavier. But out of your kind of medium weight exercise, this can be one of your heaviest. Strict press is the grandfather of building overhead press. It is one of the big four you absolutely need to be doing. If you're not doing overhead press, you need to figure out why, whether it be a mobility issue or you're just not interested in it. It will make your bench press go up. It will make your soul better. I really can't say enough good things about it. You should be doing this one. The second medium weight variation I want to talk about is a strict press, except you're going to be using bands and chains for accommodating resistance. Now, I know not all of you have the ability to use this. However, if you have some way to rig this up any way that you possibly can, this will help your overhead press a ton because it builds explosiveness and speed. And explosiveness and speed, in my opinion, are more important for the overhead press than the power itself. So you're definitely absolutely going to be working on that. And the bands and the chains, basically what happens is when you're down here in the bottom, it's lighter to you because you're not using heavy weights, because as you go up, the accommodating resistance is gonna kick in. Either those chains, more and more chains gonna leave the ground, or the bands are gonna kick in more resistance. So the press is gonna get harder and harder as it goes, teaching you that you need to explode 100% through that press the entire time. Now, it's also great because for most of the time, if you miss an overhead press, it's because you drove up to about your crown level of your head, maybe a tiny bit higher, and then the fight started. And that's exactly what these do to you. When you're down the bottom, it doesn't feel that bad because you don't have the extra resistance yet. So you think, I'm going for another one. You go for it, you get into that fight, and then you get to make a decision, and you can grind out with bands and chains more than you can any other time. It really teaches you where to be in the groove above your head, getting your head through that window, as well as just the fortitude to know how to press 100% of the time instead of 95, because that never gets it done. And the third medium weight press that I want to talk about is the semi-supinated standing dumbbell press. So you don't really need all those words. All you need to know is that you're gonna be doing a standing dumbbell press with the dumbbells like this, with a neutral grip, okay? Basically, when you stand up with these things now, in order to get these things up there, for you beginners who don't know this yet, just put them on top of your knees and then bring your legs up to your arms together. You're welcome for that because a lot of people will look real dumb trying to get in position. Also, do your weak side first. But once you do have those bad boys up there, you're gonna throw them out to the side, which is gonna hit you at a little bit different of an angle, gonna put your elbows in a different position, which is gonna make your brace different, your upper back different. A lot of things are gonna change, hitting your shoulders in a different way. But more importantly, for what I'm interested in, it's going to be hitting your core in a different way, which is going to be able to help you push more weight. Because a lot of these guys, it's about driving up something like your strict press. Strict press is great for building mass. However, most people's strict press gets stuck at a certain level and tend to stay stuck for a very long time. So in order to bust through that, you need to do other things like a push press or a push jerk or something like this that completely changes the aspect of it and makes you learn how to be stronger in other ways, driving up that strict press, that mass builder, and making it heavier, in turn creating more stimulus and more growth. Yeah, that's a lot of words for nothing. Anyway, those are an absolute great addition, especially for volume at the end when you've already worn yourself out with something like heavy barbell presses. Which brings us to our light variations, but again, I'm just calling them light variations. You can use any rep range you want. It's just that by their nature, you're using less parts of your body, so they're gonna be lighter in their, design. And the first of those is gonna be the Z press. Now the Z press is named after Zydrunas Savickas, who just so happened to be at Maryland's Strongest Man last week and is a great guy. yet very quiet. Love you, buddy. Anyway, the Z press is pretty much where you sit on the ground and you do an overhead press. Now, this is absolutely amazing because it takes everything else out of the press. This is the #1 thing. If I was gonna tell you do an assistance exercise to drive up your strict press, it would be the Z press. Now, I also need to tell you this will be an excellent tool if you have trouble with the cue of opening the window and putting your head out, kind of getting your head out between your arms in the overhead press. You're spending too much time leaning back. This will absolutely fix that because if you end up leaning back on the Z press, you just end up laying down. That said, the Z press is incredibly hard. The most I've ever been able to Z press is 275 pounds for a single, which is probably the thing that I'm most proud of in my whole overhead press achievements. I've had over 400 pounds above my head, and I still don't think that's as impressive as a 275 pound Z press because it is that tough. And then I also use in other ways, like in Tabata, I will go 20 seconds work, 10 seconds rest for 8 rounds or 4 minutes. I will do nothing but Tabata Z presses with very light weight, and trust me, that will absolutely crush you. The second light variation I want to talk to you guys about is the overhead trap bar press. Now, I know a lot of people have access to a trap bar, but not many people have seen someone overhead press with it. This is actually a tip that I got from Brian Shaw to help with my log press. I absolutely love this lift. Doing the trap bar overhead just sticks you in a different position. You can't stabilize at all. You have no rack. It is literally in your hands and on your arms. It will do a ton to build your upper back, your shoulders, your chest. All of it is absolutely incredible. I love this movement. Now, guys, a lot of times with shoulders, when it comes to what you need to do a lot for heavy pressing above head. You need to do a lot when it comes to stability and things like that. That's why I'm such a huge fan of waiters walks. Done entire videos about that. But then, as many of you know, if you want big shoulders or strong shoulders, shoulders tend to like reps. And something like a trap bar overhead press is a great way to keep the weight kind of light, and yet you can just grind and grind and grind. But I love doing these in kind of a ladder. So I'll do like 10 overhead trap bar presses to 1 50-foot waiter's walk. 9 overhead trap bar presses, 50-foot waiter's walk, 8, and continually go down. Now, when you do that, you can't use a ton of weight, but man, getting those reps in that position where you can't rack it just builds so much and helps incredibly a lot. If you guys are not using your trap bar in this way, definitely figure out some way to rig it up in a rack. That's not the easiest thing to do, I'm not gonna lie, but if you do figure it out, definitely try to use them because these work awesome. And the final light pressing variation I wanna talk about is the good old dumbbell Arnold press. Now, I do these a little bit different than some people. Some people like to keep their arms out wide. When I do the dumbbell Arnold press, I try to keep it light and try to keep it as strict as possible. Now, what I'm talking about when I do that is I slam those dumbbells right up against each other and I literally try to touch my elbows to each other. Now, I initiate my press that way, press all the way above my head. Once I get as far up as I can go and I run out of range of motion, then I flip the dumbbells out, I flex my shoulders and do a shrug at the top. Then I turn them back in, bring them back down. As soon as I can pinch my elbows together, I do, and that is how I do them. I cannot do a lot of weight with them, obviously, because you're not engaging a whole lot there, but man, doing those for high reps will absolutely crush you and teach you patience because it is a slow movement that you have to do a lot of reps to get a really good burn and get the effect from. So yeah, guys, there you go. There are 9 pressing variations that you can use either in the 4 Horsemen program or in whatever training you're doing, guys. There are heavy ones, there are medium ones, there are light ones. Try to use all of them in all different types of variations and rep ranges. You cannot go wrong in doing a lot of variation and a lot of reps and a lot of volume for your shoulders. So definitely try some of these out. I absolutely love the overhead press. I hope you guys found this useful. I'm gonna be doing this for other videos, and of course, I need to go back and do that squat Q&A, which is coming out very, very soon. But guys, I thank you so much for all the support, everything you guys are doing. If you guys do wanna make it to the seminar, you need to sign up now. Hit the link in the description box down below. I thank you guys so much for everything. I will catch up with you later in the week. Until I do, go out to something amazing, guys. Keep working hard, people. Be nice to each other. I'll see you then.